Hi guys, welcome back to the check-in. Thanks for checking in with me today. Hope you're all doing good. So today I actually want to talk about a rather depressing subject, I guess you could say, which is death. Which I have actually already covered this subject before, and yes, this is alcohol here. Actually, some really good wine cooler, Huxit which is 60 baht, Full Moon Red. Anyway, it's pretty good. And yes, I am partially naked. That's why I have a towel on me. You really don't want to see what's underneath this towel. It's pretty shocking. I seem to have developed the dad bod about 10 years earlier than I should have done. Anyway, so yeah, I want to just touch on the topic of death, really. I already have covered this before a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it again for maybe 10 minutes. You know, it's something that we're kind of obsessed with, isn't it? I think. Well, I certainly am. Uh, there's something about that that fact that we just can't seem to kind of it's so foreign to us. It's such a strange, unbelievable kind of it's difficult to comprehend. It's difficult to face. It's difficult to challenge it, to come to terms with that. And of course, it's very different for people that are kind of going through some pretty bad, uh, serious situations. Like if someone's people out there that are suffering from terminal illnesses, um, you know, I, I, I can't imagine what that pain is. I can't imagine what that. I don't know how you come to terms with, even when you know that, even when you've got a diagnosis and you know for sure that you've got a year to live or a couple of weeks, months to live, whatever it is. I don't know how you. I don't know how you come to terms with that. I don't know how you. People. A lot of people say you just kind of accept it eventually, and you kind of just it's out of your control. Um, what's the point? You might as well just sort of succumb to it. But it's easy for somebody like me to say that's kind of the wrong approach when I'm not in a position where I'm not, well, as far as I know, going to be dead in a couple of weeks' time, a couple of months' time. I mean, I'm hoping, like I said before, I'm certainly planning on sticking around for a little bit longer yet. Hopefully. Although some days I kind of wish that things would kind of end pretty quickly, if I'm honest. Um, that isn't why I drink, by the way. Um, I don't drink because of the I kind of just drink partly through habit, really, and just every now and again, and just it's for something to do, if I'm honest, really. But death is it's just you know I wonder how many people I wonder how many people out there actually. I wonder how long people think about it on a daily basis or weekly basis. I would say I certainly think about. Excuse me. I certainly think about death probably in an average week. Probably I would say. I'd say at least 5 times. I'd say maybe even more than that. Not like persistently, just sort of like passing, kind of just like passing thoughts, really. Um, I mean, how do you accept it? How do you just accept it? It's not within us to accept death. It's our soul. Sort of, if there is a soul as such, it's surely the instinct of survival, and I think that's kind of why it's for me at least, and unless something happens to me, for the moment I find it very, even though I know that it's going to happen at some point, under what circumstances I don't know. I just hope it's not some fucking dreadful. I know it's going to happen, but it's kind of like you sort of sometimes you kind of like, well, I certainly do. You sort of pretend to. I think you kind of. It's easier to just say that you've accepted it, when in reality you haven't. Especially if you're not actually, terribly ill, and if you're in like pretty healthy shape and all that. It's kind of difficult to really. I think it's there's probably more. I think there's more realistic. I think you could possibly say that. I mean, even if you are terminally ill, there's still that possibility of survival, potentially, in certain circumstances and certain illnesses and stuff. Even though they might be classed as terminal, there might still be hope with new treatments, new drugs, and so forth. But I think once you kind of get to, I guess, like for people that reach old age, whatever that, 75, 80 years old, 90 years old, whatever. In England, I guess that would be like 85 years old, 90 probably now. And I guess maybe, I don't know, even for old people that are actually have reached old age, do they still, is it easy? I wonder if it becomes more real, or if it becomes easier to accept, even if you can possibly accept it, once you get to that kind of an age. I don't know, but I guess if I reach that age, I'll probably find out, won't I? I mean, I assume at some point you kind of know that your days are numbered. But even then, it's like, I don't know. I guess I think in some ways it becomes a relief for some people, or it will be a relief for some people if they're suffering from all sorts of mental health issues or physical issues or some serious terminal illness, not just horrible illness. Then it will probably, for some people, might come as a like I said, a relief, really, which is a sad thing to say. But even then, I mean, is that acceptance? Is the relief that you're going to die a form of acceptance? I don't know. Like I said, we're built to survive in whatever means that is, that it takes to survive. It's kind of just an instinct, really. Well, part of it is obviously the element of adaptability and changing accordingly to the situations that we find ourselves in and so on. But I don't know. It's just like I've said before. I'm not scared of death. It's like actual death, because, as in being dead, actually being dead. Brain dead, heart dead. Everything in your body just not function anymore. Then it's like, there's nothing there. There's nothing to really. You can't think. You can't feel. You can't do anything. So there's nothing to worry about in that regard, as far as I can tell, unless there's some other kind of life of some sort that continues. I'm not particularly a firm believer in that, but if there is, and that's, that changes things. But I'm not sure there is, and I'm pretty confident about that. So that means that this is it. This is the life that I've made for myself, and I will make for myself for however long I've got left on this planet, which I don't know how long that is. I suppose that's a good thing in certain ways, but in other ways, I kind of wish I did know how long I have, because I think there'd be more urgency, there'd be more reason to stop being so negative and to being so, lazy and unmotivated and everything that I am at times. But then again, saying that, there'll be a lot of pressure, and if someone said to me tomorrow that, I'm sorry, David, but you're going to have a tragic accident in a month's time. You're going to get in the car, you're going to get to a massive collision, you're going to be in the hospital for 3 days, and you're going to die, or whatever. It's, I don't know. Would it make you more motivated or not? Would it be would it be too crushing to deal with? Would you be so depressed and so in such a bad way that you couldn't handle anything anymore? I don't know. It's a very interesting question, but for me, I'm worried about. Well, I'm obviously worried about my parents dying, which is probably not too far around the corner, which I hate to say, but that's kind of the way they live their lives, and the way they've lived their lives is not looking good for them, I don't think. Can't see them living to an old age. I think they'll be lucky to get another 10 years. My brothers, with their mental health issues, I've got a lot of things to worry about in regards to my own family. And then, of course, I'm battling with my own mental health as well. Which is partly why I drink, but not completely. But it's it's a daunting thing. Very, very scary to even try to consider the context, the situation, how you're going to die, and how it's going to be. And we all hope that it'll be as painless as possible, but the reality will probably be that it won't be painless. It'll be painful, and I think that's kind of partly why we don't want to accept. We don't even like to talk about dying, because like I said, it's so out there. It's so. Well, it's just so not life, is it? That where I'm living right now. I'm breathing. I'm living. I'm alive. I'm talking. It's hard to imagine not doing that anymore. It's hard to imagine me not being here. I can't really fully grasp my head around it, because this is all I've ever known, and as far as I can tell, this is all I will ever know, as in me being me, this life being what it is, in the time span that I'm alive in it. I don't know. I think sometimes it's better to. I think you've got to kind of be in the right frame. I think you've got to kind of be prepared to face, to confront the potential reality of what death could be. For all I know, to a month from now, next year, whatever it is, I might go to the doctor one day with some pain, suddenly have an heart attack the next week, or suddenly develop some form of cancer when I'm 40 or before or whatever, or when I'm 50, have some kind of another heart related issue due to obesity or so, whatever it is. I'm kind of honestly, I'm kind of thinking that I don't think I will have a long life. That's what I think. I can't. I think I'll be. If I get to 50, I think I'll have done well. But part of me thinks that I'm not going to reach 50. And I'm not particularly. It's not about a milestone. I don't care about. It's not about, oh look, I've reached 50, I've reached 60. It's not about that. It's just that I don't give a shit about age and the number, but I would love to be able to have as many years as I possibly can, as long as they're not, I don't have to fight off some fucking horrible illness or a couple of tumours or something for that time. I would like to live as healthy as a life and as long as a life as I possibly can, because this is it. And that's it, This is it, man. As far as I can tell, this is it. And this isn't a lot in some ways. And you've got to kind of just make the best of whatever you've been given or whatever you've got, whatever cards you've dealt to yourself or other people have dealt for you, or a mixture of both. And just things come and go, things change, people will disappear from your life, relationships will end, marriages will end in one form or another. Your relationship with your family will eventually ties will be cut due to death, due to your sisters, your family, your brothers, your whatever, having their own lives. And so eventually, more or less, it's not, this is kind of, I'm not scared of death. But what I am scared of is loneliness. I'm scared of not having fun anymore, not being able to have a life. Surely if there is any point to life, it's to actually live it, to be able to live it life, to life a life, to live a life. And once you kind of get to that point where you can't do that anymore, are you really living? Are you even really alive at that point? Because, once you kind of stop, once that child has gone, that inner child has disappeared from you, physically and mentally, it's game over as far as I can tell. And to me, death is more about, death can happen during the process of living, in that you can die before you're already dead. And I don't want to get to that point. If things do end tomorrow or next week or whenever, because it's going to happen at some point. Like I said, I don't know how it will happen, but I know it's going to happen. Whether it's through suicide, whether it's through an accident of some kind, whether it's through somebody killing me, whether it's through a plane going down or something, whatever it will be, drowning, fire, whatever, it's going to happen. And I understand why people don't like talking about these things, because it is fucking depressing to talk about. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be, but it kind of just is. I hate to use the word grave, but that's kind of the best word to use. It's down, isn't it? It's not positive. It doesn't fill you with positive emotions. But when, like I said, it needs to be more of an open topic. It needs to be discussed more openly. And I think it would be less negative if it was talked about more. If people were open about these things more, and doesn't need to be the stigma surrounded by things like these kind of topics, and even if they are serious and they fill you with anxiety and they do depress you. I kind of think death is inevitable, and I don't think we ever fully accept it, and I don't think that you can, but we try to accept it in some form, even though I don't really believe that anybody really fully accepts it. Not until they're like literally there, or in that present, in that moment where then they know for sure, or they feel like they're for sure they're going to die, but even then, you don't know for certain. And a lot of people that have died maybe felt odd, felt ill for a second or whatever, and just never woke up, but who knows whether they genuinely thought that it was going to die for sure or not, but don't dig your own grave before it's time to get in it. I fucked around a lot in my life and for too long, and those things kind of come back to haunt you when you're late 20s, 30s. Bad diet decisions, your bad exercise, lack of exercise, your lack of motivation in your teens and early 20s. All that shit comes back to haunt you. Failed relationship. I'm sure it doesn't get better as you get into your 30s, 40s, 50s. I think once you get to your 60s and 70s, you probably just don't have any enough energy to give a shit anymore. But certainly in your 20s and 30s, and now that I'll be 30 next year, I'm having to really battle my fucking way through this period. This has been a bastard of a period. Really fucking difficult. Really, really difficult period these last couple of years. Yet I'm kind of glad for it. I'm thankful for it, because these have probably been the best years of my life in terms of learning and gaining wisdom and insight and intuition, and just a sense of sort of peace, really. But none of that stuff comes easy, and none of it should. None of it should be easy, but just live your life, guys. You got to live your life. You really do. It is really, really short. And it took me to get to nearly 30 years old, almost half of my life, to realise that. The days just pass by, and you do what you do, and you do what you do, in day in, day out, and before you know it, a year's gone, 5 years gone, and and you're looking back and you just can't believe it. It's hard. It's a hard life. A hard life. But it's worth it. It is worth it. Sometimes. But I'd say most of the time it's a real fucking slog. Really difficult. And you better have the right mechanisms and ways of dealing with life, because life doesn't give a shit about you or me. It doesn't give a fuck. Does not care in the slightest. Nature is what it is. It doesn't need to care. It just does what it does. We need to care for ourselves, because ultimately no one should really give a shit about us besides ourselves, especially as adults. But it's nice to have friends. It's nice to have people that are genuinely supportive of us. And if you have those people, take care of those people. If they're your family, your partner, your friends, take care of those people, man. They're precious. They really are. Because things will change and those people will disappear at some point. Whether, a lot of the time, decent people just disappear, not because it's deliberate, but because of, life just changed, and maybe they've had a daughter or a son, or whatever it is, I've had to move for careers and stuff, whatever. But anyway, look, this has gone on way too long. 25 minutes in. But thanks, guys, for watching this. I really appreciate you watching my videos. I apologise, as you know, they're not as upbeat or positive as you might like them to be. But this is me. This is who I am, and I kind of just accept it. And if people can't accept that, fine, whatever, you know. Go and find the right people for you, you know. I've had people come and go in my life for the last 10 years. I've gotten used to it, which is not a good thing in some ways, but you know, each to their own. Let live and let live, and you know, I wish all those people that have come and gone out of my life all the best of luck. Genuinely, you know, I'm better off without you anyway. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's check out. You're checked out. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.